Hey, how's it going, fellas? Welcome to the second episode of my series. Today we're just going to be PKing in the same gear that we did in the first episode, and that's really because I didn't expect to make as much money as I did in the first episode, and I was quite enjoying going around PKing in basically rag Tribrid gear. So I'm probably going to keep that for a little bit, but at the end of the video we will consolidate what we've PK'd so far. And at the start of the next episode, I'll make some upgrades and also, probably buy some supplies, set out some rules, things like that. So on with the PK. So this was the first guy I found, and my HP was low at the start because I wasn't actually recording, so I had to switch to my software and get it on. So he started smiting me. I don't know what he was doing. He had adamant gloves on. Torag's legs was his +1, it turns out. But he had a spirit shield, so yeah, it was decent loot, and I dispatched him pretty quickly for about 300k loot. I don't know where he was going because he didn't even have a rev bracelet, and in that sort of setup, you would have thought he was there. But yeah. The next person I found was this crossbow guy, and he really stood out. If you're going to PVM, you shouldn't PVM in gear that makes you stand out so much. He just kind of made himself a target, and it's always good to PK crossbow because obviously you get the effort, and it turned out to be 388k, so good start. So at this point I was PKing with my friend Focus. He's a really competent PKer, and he was on his med level 100. So he scouted this guy, and I thought, well, I might as well get on him. And my RNG was just ridiculous in this fight. I was just sitting there smiting him. He was doing nothing but tanking. Even when he got his prayers right, I was still hitting through prayers. And yeah, you can see what happens. So Focus is actually with me for the majority of this video. He decided to come in the same gear, and we were just kind of messing around. The loot here was 1.05 mil, and the cash came from the Gmail, so that was nice to PK. So this next clip really made me laugh. Focus was on a pure with a D crossbow, and this guy was saying low in game. I ended up hitting him for a dark bow. I didn't even know he had a dark bow, and maybe he should have had his hand on the mouse rather than in his popcorn, just enjoying the show. So he was completely oblivious to what was around him. And dude, why were you not protecting item? If you're gonna stand there like a muppet, at least protect item. So I wasn't complaining though, and it ended up being a decent amount of loot, which I'll show on screen now. By the way, if you're wondering where that rain RC came from, someone killed a moss giant and didn't pick it up. So yeah, of course I was gonna get on that. So this next fight, despite the D gloves and a bit of a weird setup, he wasn't actually that bad. He kept his HP very high for the whole fight, which is why I haven't put the whole clip in. But eventually it got down to the 30 line, and I decided to kind of risk some HP a little bit just to try and KO him. I was unlucky not to KO him there, and I didn't get a chance because I brewed, sit to brew, as he spec'd, even though I was on 40 HP. It didn't delay my attack, so I managed to get a bolt off on him, and it was quite nice loot. Okay, so in this next clip, I found a guy with a light ballista, light level 100, and he just looked a bit like free stuff. So I chased him into dragons. He ended up boxing a dragon. I was just sitting there waiting for him, and I think he called his friend for backup. But instead of just entangling me and running off, I managed to catch up with his friend. I was really unlucky not to KO him twice here. But RNG is not always on your side, and he was already venomed as well with a Kraken tentacle, so I just thought, fuck it, I'll just completely switch target and get on this guy instead. His mate was still around though, and causing me a few issues, especially in single. He decided to run into multi, but I wasn't really scared of both of them. I thought I could out DPS them, and worst case scenario DD, which is what I start doing here just in case his mate does decide to come, because I wanted to preserve my food and limit his damage on me. And you know, some people don't like this tactic, but it's the most effective way to do DPS whilst not receiving any damage yourself. It also allows you to smite when you're PKing, which is great. Obviously, without taking any damage, and you're going to take a lot more damage if you're smiting, especially if you're in salad robes. So I managed to catch a refreeze. I don't know where his friend was at this point. Props to this guy for coming and helping his friend, but his friend just kind of left him to the wolves. He wasn't very happy with me DDing on him, but at this point I just wanted some loot and to get a kill. and obviously it's the D-Wildy, so anything goes. He tried to dupe me on the door here. I was just going in and out, and it's really difficult to PK solo on the door. He managed to run away, and luckily I managed to catch a freeze here, I believe. And just the same thing again. I don't know why his friend wasn't coming into multi to help him. It would have been a 2 versus 1 situation. So he was a multi PKer, and I don't know why he didn't run south here, which is probably his best escape. He only had a little bit of wildy to tank, but he decided not to do that and actually run up north. I'm spoiling this for you guys, I'm sorry. But yeah, he ran up north into singles. I didn't manage to catch a freeze. I think I was just put off by the fact he was calling me a retard the whole time, and it became very stressful. But I managed to catch a freeze in singles and went to finish him off, and his friend finally returned. Ended up PJing me off the kill, but it was too late for his friend. Luckily, as I said, he was Venom, so even though I tried to juke his friend and try and get one more hit on his mate, when I came back in, he died. His friend couldn't believe it, and he ended up running away and getting away. The loot was 230k, I believe, so yeah, it was really not worth it. So I was just bullying this PVMer for his bracelet, and you know, supplies are expensive, so you got to do what you got to do. And I saw this interesting looking guy out the corner of my eye, so I got on him instead. Ended up DDing on the PVMer to lose aggro from him. And luckily the guy started attacking me back, so the PVMer couldn't PJ. And I ended up prayer dropping him and not KOing him, of course, because you know, RNG. But I stayed on him, thought it'd be interesting. His prayer dropped, so I thought I might get a +1 or something. And yeah, ended up just KOing him after multiple attempts. The PVMer got straight back on me, but it was too late to really do anything. And he had a whole invent of rev loot, so that was fantastic for me. I'm never going to complain about 400k loot, so straight to the bank with that. So I was on my way back to the entrance and I saw this guy running down. He was risking a tome because he had a Staff of the Dead, so I got on him straight away. I was quite lucky to catch a freeze because he had really good bonuses. And it turns out later in Edge that he was actually just spamming question marks at this point, so he was quite cocky, not expecting me to do anything. But he wasn't changing his prayers or anything, so I just thought I'd bolt him down a little bit and then just go straight for the AGS. I was lucky to hit a 68, and yeah, that's the freest time that I'll ever PK. And of course, the whole time that I was recording this video, I was killing PVMers that didn't drop too great loot. So, you know, people just going up to the cave entrance and stuff like that. So I decided, instead of boring you with that, I'd just make a little montage of a few of the clips I saved. I didn't save all of them. Let me know how you want me to deal with that in the future, because obviously it does add to the bank value, but you don't want to be sitting there watching me kill someone for 100k.
Let's just be honest, the whole layer gang ain't on it. I was 17 with a whap and a shank and a whole of the weed in college.
What do you know about club?
Man's been running up and down, getting them coins, cool man Sonic. Let's just be honest, the whole layer gang ain't on it. I was 17 with a whap and a shank and a whole of the weed in college. Me and bro like Wallace and Gromit, he's got me when his Pete man got him. Man's been running up and down, getting them coins, cool man Sonic. OT doing up trap, no cap. I with a pen ting on my OT spot and a girl wanna count my stat. I ain't rich so I'm feeling cash. See I'm trapped between the two, I was late for booth cause I learnt with a whack. I've been eating at D's for weeks, it's peaks, I'm hitting up town for a vax. I'm on the up block trying to lurk and pivot. I'm all up in the next spot, all upside trying to get my riches. That's an SJ flow, you know, flow too cold so I had to work with it. If it worked by Snoop or Max or D Squeezy or LR did it, and you know that the gang too vicious.
You made it to the end of the PKing segment of the video, and I'm going to show you the bank and kind of just discuss what's up next. So this is the loot tab, just shy of 20 mil, and actually with some of the stuff that I've gotten here, like I've got way too many D-hide sets, a few too many helms, it actually comes up to 20 mil. So what am I going to do now? Well, I think I'm going to keep the toxic staff and use that as an alternative +1 item. I think I'm going to keep going with the Xerix for a little while, at least until I die one more time. And yeah, I mean, supplies are dwindling, so I'm definitely going to have to buy some supplies at the start of the next video. I've also thought about untradables, so I do have some untradables here that I've just kept. I didn't transfer off of the account. I think what I'm going to have to do is either pay the amount of GP that it's worth. So for example, a Berserker ring, I don't even know how much those go for now, but let's say they're 3 mil, then I'd have to transfer 3 mil off of the account to kind of bring that into my PK tab. And if they're not worth anything, for example, a Dragon Defender, you know, it's nominal in price, then I think I'm going to charge myself 500k. So if I want to use a Fire Cape or a Dragon Defender or a Torso or something, I have to use 500k. And of course, if I'm going to use something like a Torso, then I'm also going to need a Truva or a Trova Parchment. So those are going to be the rules. So, I mean, if I am using a Staff of the Dead, I'm going to use a Defender with it and probably a DDS or something like that. So look out for episode 3. Thanks, guys.